the Nacional itself is the ultimate single vineyard wine because it just comes from this tiny little parcel of vines. I should be clear about what Nacional is and what it's not. For many years it was actually written on the label, made from pre-phylloxera grapes. Well, given that phylloxera was in 1880, if they picked the grapes in 1879 and kept them in a cupboard, it probably wouldn't be very good. We have some very old vines in the parcel, perhaps one or two from before phylloxera, but the actual average age of the Nacional parcel is about 35 years. What is true is that the vines that grow there are not grafted onto American rootstock. I'm sure you all know the story of phylloxera, which devastated the vineyards of Europe in between the 1860s and the 1880s. And it was a terrible time. People believed at the time that viticulture in Europe was over. And the solution finally found was to actually graft the European vines onto American rootstock. And so all over Europe, that's what you've got now. And all over the Douro, that's what you've got, except in this tiny little parcel at Quinta Noval Nacional, where, for mysterious reasons, we really don't know why, the ungrafted vines survive. The 67 was not a generally declared vintage year, but there were several people who did. It's one of my favorite Nationals because it has a sort of wild character about it. It's a rather undisciplined National, but I think very beautiful. And it's been like that for 20 years. It's been on a sort of plateau for about 20 years and is not showing any great signs of old age. If you give it time to age, you'll see when we get to the end with the 62, 63, those kind of wines, you have that wonderful, delicate, fine quality, extraordinary aromatics, and it's definitely a Noval wine. But when it's a baby, it's bigger than the Quinta Noval. I've always liked the 2003. It's a very exuberantly ripe style, but I think has enough of freshness and balance to it to be a lovely wine for keeping. We've occasionally tried to plant ungrafted vines elsewhere at Quinta Noval, and they don't work. So it's just that place where they do, and it's a mysterious thing, but it's lucky for us. The only Nacional port is Quinta Noval. It's a Portuguese vine growing in Portuguese soil without any American bit in between. And nothing wrong with an American bit in between, but for the Portuguese, it's the national vine in the national soil, and that's why it's called Nacional.